Hey everyone, Kat here. Welcome to my channel. Well, I noticed something this morning. It seems that Harry's HRH title has been removed from the royal family website. I noticed this morning first thing in an article in the Daily Mail UK, and the headline reads, Prince Harry's HRH title is stripped from royal family website profile page 3 years after Meghan's was removed following Brexit departure to Los Angeles. And it goes on to say Buckingham Palace has quietly ditched Prince Harry's His Royal Highness title from the royal family's website. Under the terms of the 2020 Brexit agreement, the palace said Harry and Meghan Markle could retain their HRH titles, but would not be allowed to use them after stepping down as senior royals. Even so, parts of the royal website have referred to Harry as HRH for the last 3 years, seemingly in error. Well, now it's done, and I did go to the royal family's website just to confirm it for myself. And when you go down, members of the royal family, of course, Harry and Meghan are at the very bottom. The only one lower than them is Prince Andrew. And indeed, in his bio, they do not mention the HRH, nor in his title, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. It's not there. And this is something, we have wanted. There's a few adjustments to the royal website that we've been hoping to see, and this is just one of them. But you know what? It's a little too late. It's a little too late. Too much has gone on. There's too much more, especially now what we know, especially now what's come out. And if some people are right, the royal family knew about Meghan very early on. Celt News, fabulous, follow her. Celt Views, sorry. She's had some recent videos about Meghan's appointment with the Center for the Arts or Ballet or whatever that she was patron of, and the Queen had wanted her to have a little meeting, and Meghan refused, said, sorry, I've got a more important engagement, and the Queen had her people meet her there and removed her wedding ring, an engagement ring, and supposedly put her on a plane to Canada with Sophie there waiting so she couldn't leave. And this is like a James Bond plot. And, you look at the pictures, and I never noticed before when she's leaving, she's not wearing the rings. And I really think Celt is onto something here. She's done some great investigating and great reporting, so everybody's got to watch her. But here's the thing, even with that, so that kind of proves that not only, William and Kate were on tour, but the Queen was on tour. So obviously Charles would have had to be, he'd have known what was going on. They all knew how treacherous these two were right from the start. And yet, we've all heard, the Queen, she plays the long game. And you're kind of at this point, well, she's gone now, and it's up to Charles to do something. And it looks like he's very reluctant to do something. Look at this, 3 years on, and he's only removed the HRH from the website. There's still the question of supposed children. Everybody's, Harry and the children's in the line of succession. There's the issue of him still being a counselor of state. Well, is that title null and void because he's no longer living in Britain? There's all these open questions. Everything's open to interpretation. And one thing that we do know, well, that we should know when we talk about, oh, royal protocol, the king can't do this, the king can't do that, or it's got to be this way because that's royal protocol. One thing you have to understand is royal protocol is nothing more than the whim of the monarch at the time the rule was made. It's the monarch. They can change their rules anytime they want to. Look out, the Queen adjusted the rules so Anne could get remarried. The Queen adjusted the rules so that Charles could get remarried. None of these protocol rules, royal, it means nothing. They can do what they want. That's why he's the monarch. It's those kind of rules and traditions, and it's all for show. It's pomp and ceremony, and this is how it's done. And the king has the prerogative to change any rule at any time for whatever reason, and the people in the government know this. The people at the top know this. Charles knows this. It's not like he's naive. And, this whole kind of power play, are they going to remove Harry's titles and this kind of a thing? And there was a lot of back and forth and discussion on YouTube, and people saying, well, the Queen is just going to let that one ride, because if the government, if the people get angry enough, it's going to filter into government conversation, legislation on the floor. And if the government decides that enough is enough and they are going to remove the titles, then the Queen could, and I said this over a year ago, then the Queen could sit back and say, well, my hands are tied. I have to do what my government wants me to do. It wasn't my choice, and so she could come out looking, smelling like a rose. I said this over, a year ago, before she died, 6 months before she died. But anyway, that's not necessarily so. The Queen, and you say, oh, well, you need a letters patent. She writes a letter. She signs it. She said, this is a new letters patent. That's all it is. That's how much authority she has. There's no big rigmarole. It's all pomp and ceremony, and it's theater. It really is. But now, anyway, what's happening? An MP in Britain a while ago had put forth a member's bill to do just that, to remove Harry and Meghan's titles. And I don't know if I believe it's had its first reading on the floor. I'm not exactly sure if Britain's parliamentary procedures are the same as here in Canada, but they'll need at least another reading of the bill, probably passed from, one section of the government to the other, like the peers and the commons, or however it works in Britain, something like that, I would imagine, and then at some point they're going to have to vote on it. Now, let's just say that it gets to that point, and they have a vote, and they vote that they want to remove Harry and Meghan's titles, and they put this to the king. Of course, every law that is passed needs royal assent. He has to sign it. That's those red boxes. That's all the paperwork. That's all the government's business every day that the king looks over, provides assent, asks for discussion, whatever, however he wants to deal with any particular piece of paper. Again, what happens if he doesn't give that bill royal assent, if he goes directly against his government and his people's wishes. Exactly what I've been saying all along. There's a number of things that can bring Charles down in a minute. And one thing the monarchy relies on is consent to the people. If the people turn against him, that's it and that's all, folks. And like I've said before, there is William and Kate waiting in the wings, and William's not going to let the monarchy falter, even if it means forcing his father off the throne. If it ever got to the position where the government said, okay, we have voted to take away the titles of these two, Charles refuses to give his assent, huge news. The people would be up in arms. The people would be protesting the king. The government would be furious at this dissension of duty by the king. And William will step in and just say, we got it sorted. Dad, you're out. Go. Go. And I've said this for years. I just think it's interesting. And I've done videos. Go look at them. They're the King Charles III, Life Imitating Art. What's it going to take to get Charles off the throne? Because that's where I think he's headed. I don't think he's going to have a very long tenure as monarch. And as I've said before, there's a number of issues that can derail his monarchy, that can derail his reign. And this whole issue with Harry and Meghan is one of the biggest ones. And so we'll have to see what happens. The HRH has been removed from Harry's title on the British royal family website. It's too little too late. We've got a members' bill that's in the process. Let's see what happens with that. No doubt, the Harry and Meghan saga just keeps rolling along. It's a gift that keeps on giving. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. Is Charles going to do the right thing and further remove the rest of the titles? Remove Harry as a member of the Councillors of State? Is he going to prove to the people what the people want from him? To prove that he is a strong ruler? To prove that he can do the right thing for the monarchy? And, you know, those two are a deep danger to the monarchy. They have got to be put aside. Can Charles do it? I guess we'll wait and see. Have a great day, everybody. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you're thinking about all of this. Have a great day, everybody.